Peter Davitt is CEO of FIT, and he spoke with Niall Kitson about why colleges aren't the end all and how companies are coming around to the value of apprenticeships as a way of developing Ireland's talent pipeline.
Peter, thanks for joining us on the show today. Now, in looking at the IT sector in general, we're hearing two things. We're hearing that there's this huge talent deficit, but at the same time, we're looking at a slightly problematic jobs market at the moment where there seems to be a talent surplus. So from your perspective, which is it?
Morning, Niall. It's great to talk to you on this lovely autumnal morning with the sun shining outside. Hope all of winter remains like this. Interesting question, Niall. I suppose from my perspective is it depends on what talent and what skill sets that you're talking about. I mean, the tech sector, the ICT, the broader technology sectors, there are a very broad church of skills and abilities, you know. And like every aspect of our economy have ebbs and flows on occasion. And indeed, we're all learning, you know, living with the impact of the Ukraine war on the global economy and having coming out of COVID. But overall, my perception of the tech sector is that the demand is for technical talent, for technical skills, for technical competencies. And that we're seeing, for example, within the tech apprenticeship program, continuous growth of participating companies. So, the environment is challenging, and I think most companies, not just within the tech sector, but across the economy, would say that at the moment. But I mean, I think there's very definite, you know, green shoots. There's very much optimism for the first and second quarter next year. And as I said, partially this is the ebb and flow and cycle of both national economy and global economies.
So one of the main problems you're dealing with is fostering a talent pipeline in a slightly unorthodox, I suppose, kind of way. And that starts with the perception that technology professions begin in the colleges, which isn't necessarily something you agree with.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose people learn and develop in different ways, and has fostered their abilities by different means. But I think in Ireland, you know, there has been an obsession over third level qualification. It's been the sole and only route to a career in tech-related sectors. And that has not been our experience. It's true if people wish and have the appetite and the interest to pursue a degree or master's program towards a career in tech or any other area, they should do so. But other people who don't have that inkling or think in a different way, there is other paths into the tech sector. And there's a growing desire for greater diversity and inclusion within the tech sector. I think there's a misnomer in Ireland. You know, we have this glass wall between what we call further educational and vocational training and higher education or third level education at level 6. But in reality, third level education is a misnomer. The proper definition of education qualifications in Ireland is tertiary education. So like any post-secondary education course has a currency and credentials in the workplace. And young and not so young people should realise that. So from our experience, yes, in the early days of FIT, where FIT is now 24 years in operation, we're an industry-led initiative promoting greater diversity and inclusion in the tech talent pipeline. There was a sense, and indeed in the industry, that, you know, you must have a degree or a master's ideally to be considered, unless you've been working at home in some sort of technology way. And, you know, but our experience has been, for example, if you look at the vendor certification out there that a lot of companies depend upon, and you compare it with the qualifications framework, most of those vendor certifications would lie somewhere between a level 5 and level 6 award on the qualifications framework, and not at necessarily a level 7 and level 8. I mean, and the interesting thing I would like to say to people, you know, from a FIT perspective, what we're always interested in is it's the future potential rather than past history. You know, I mean, I work now in the tech sector. I've been working for the last quarter of a century. I started my journey as a bricklayer. And in some ways, that experience stayed with me, Niall, as a real rich way of learning skills and skills development. And when the opportunity came then to sort of bring into existence tech apprenticeships, I was convinced that was a way to bring a broader talent pipeline to the attention of the tech sector. So, I mean, and the reality in Ireland is, that we need to appreciate is, one of the few things shared equally in society is intelligence. Opportunity, not so much. And our role within FIT has to be to enable and assist people untap their latent potential. That latent potential that is in us all. We can all dream and aspire, but we all need support and encouragement in different ways to realise our goals. And that's very much what FIT is trying to do with the apprenticeship programme. So I don't know if you're aware, Niall, up until 2016-17, in Ireland, we were a bit late coming to the party. In Ireland, we really only had traditional trades as apprenticeships. We didn't necessarily have a modern apprenticeship. So, we had your bricklayer, your plasterer, electrician, etc., which are all fine trades. But we didn't have what I would call modern apprenticeships. It's only since 2017-18 did we broaden out the portfolio of apprenticeships. And now there's apprenticeships in sales, in insurance, in butchery, and in our ones within the tech arena. And currently we're delivering 3 apprenticeship programs: network engineering, cyber security, and software development. And the interesting thing about the journey, Niall, is, as I say, we have this preoccupation that the sole route to a career in tech is a third level qualification. Well, our experience is the contrary to that. If you take, for example, just take our apprenticeship program alone, which is only one of our conduits into the tech sector, we started our first tech apprenticeship program in 2018. And I think, as I said previously, maybe in an article, was, the hurlers on the ditch were saying to me that you won't get an employer, a tech company, to put their hand in the pocket to fund somebody on a level 6 award. Well, we're now, 5 years down the road, we have over 700 apprentices in companies, both large multinational companies, medium-sized enterprises, small indigenous companies, and in the public sector. We have over 700 apprentices currently have come through the program. And the feedback from those employers about the caliber and quality of these people is quite amazing. And what we've seen with these companies is where they started with 1s and 2s, we'll try it out. We now have companies funding whole cohorts of apprentices. And we have great diversity in terms of female and male participation. So the great thing about the apprenticeship program for a lot of people, third level, and I as my life meandered, but I've done a degree and master's as I saw fit to support my role and my career development. But, particularly from after leaving school, third level can be a costly reality for many people. And it can be, those costs can also be prohibitive from others to participating within that style of education. But the reality and the great thing about the apprenticeship program is that it's an earn and learn opportunity, that you're employed by your employer from day one on the course, on the program. And you're in their employ right through the apprenticeship program. And over 95% of the places, employers are retaining those apprentices. And just the other thing to say is that the general retention rate on the apprenticeship program is over 90%, which is tremendous. So what we are really doing here, and the good news for the tech companies, is that we're broadening out the tech talent pipeline. And we're adding to that cohort of individuals, and we're giving them more varied skills as well. The other difference between the apprenticeship program and other styles of learning is that you're immersed in it. You do on-the-job block training, and you do off-the-job and college training as well. But you're immersed on average, between 35 hours a week for 2 years in the related technologies. So for me, it's not for everybody, but I think it's an opportunity many should consider. And the other key thing about the apprenticeship program is it's not just for young people. And we have people who have left school and come directly onto the apprenticeship programs. But the average age, actually, of apprentices is somewhere in the region of, I would say, between 23 and 45. So, people who may have started out in one career pathway and have, find it's not maybe providing them as rewarding as they would like, or providing the income that they would wish, and they think they have any interest within the tech arena, I think they should genuinely consider looking at those apprenticeship programs and to see whether it might meet their interests and career aspirations. And the other thing about it, I'd say about the tech apprenticeships as well, and the tech sector, particularly for, I think sometimes for more, greater female participation, there's a view that, you're in a dark corner coding, or, the job is somewhat, that phrase, nerdy or that. But actually there's such an array of opportunities and skill requirements, from project management to product management to, creative skills and technical skills, that there's such a variety of career opportunities. And most people in the tech sector are engaged and interact with other people on a continuous basis. So it's quite a social environment in which to work also.
One of the problems that I imagine you faced is that of dealing with companies that are, not Irish, they're multinationals. They might have a very different approach to learning. Indeed, they might be entrenched in that sort of collegiate mindset. In dealing with multinationals, how have you found that relationship being? Did you find it very difficult to get it across that, look, applied learning can be the way to go? It has to be run up the food chain to head office. I'm sure you've heard at a more than one occasion. So is there that sort of cultural, something of a culture clash, I suppose, when it comes to some companies and apprenticeships?
Great question, Noel. I suppose it's interesting that when I look back at our journey, so as I say, we're 24 years on this road to introduce apprenticeships. I suppose I think there was a general sense, and there was a sense, that the entry requirement, the criteria was generally, a third of a qualification. But back in 2012, we in FIT decided to do our own industry skill needs analysis on a regular basis. And we developed our own methodology. And what we done was we took the tech sector and the key disciplines within the tech sector, and we broke it into sub-skill sets. And we had a conversation with companies. Where would they consider somebody at entry, competent, and advanced level? And by having this survey with employers, we were able to demonstrate, for example, that actually they had a more broad swathe of talent requirements. Like that, for example, if somebody's doing some, as I say, vendor certification, in reality that's a level 5 award on the qualifications framework, and others would be level 6. There's very few vendor certifications that would be beyond level 6. And we were able to demonstrate to them that actually, while you've got great comfort in the confidence of a third of a qualification as you know it, you've equal confidence in vendor certification. Yet these vendor certifications, these industry certifications actually sit within FET vocational training within the qualifications framework. And we've done that on a number of events. We've done it on 2012, 2014, 2018, and more recently we've done one last year. And I suppose through that journey with employers, both large and small, the scales have fallen off the eyes. And they've looked more closely at their own skill sets and requirements and realised that actually they need a more diverse range of skill sets and that they can be met from a variety of different institutions and through a variety and a range of programs. So yes, there's been a journey of say, crystallization there. But they've walked that road with us. And I think the great thing that's been a great advantage for the evolution within attitudes towards training within the tech-related sectors has been the rapid change and evolution of technologies. That, old certifications that existed 5 years ago, even by the fact that they're there doesn't mean to say that they're relevant. That the tech sector, and we see now AI and all the rest come into existence, that the talent requirements evolve and change at a fairly fast pace. And actually that's made, I think, the industry more open. And I have actually seen, you're right, I remember some of the companies when we first initiated the apprenticeship program couldn't actually, while they were supportive of the apprenticeship program, couldn't actually recruit an apprentice because their own entry criteria didn't allow for it, in that their expectation was you had to have a degree and you had to have a master's. But I know many of those companies now have actually put aside those entry criteria and have embraced the tech apprenticeship pathway as a credible stream for recruitment. So, which is good news.
Looking at the issue of diversity, which you've brought up a few times there, how are you finding companies are tapping into FIT in order to meet those diversity goals, and indeed the role of FIT in attracting more women into technology roles?
So, we're very keen. Where I want to get, I think at the moment we're around, when we look at our participation rates, I think we're around 35% female participation and the remainder male. I won't be happy until that's 50-50. And in fairness to the tech companies, they want that as well. And they want also greater socioeconomic diversity within their workforce as well. And I suppose, to that end, FIT is a national initiative. We work with all of the ETBs across the country, and our partners are also Solus and the National Apprenticeship Office. But our two critical, partners I see are learners on one side and employers on the other side. And there's a great desire. I think sometimes, to be honest, we have to persuade more women that it is a career path that is open and interesting for them. There has been a stereotypical view that this is a male-dominated arena, but I think that's become less and less, and very much so in recent years. And I would encourage every young woman, or not so young, who's considering about their future career, that has an interest, has even just a curiosity around IT. Go and explore the apprenticeship program. Go and look at the content, because we don't just do technical skills within our programs. There's also a huge focus on personal professional development, mindset, and resilience. So, these programs provide a quilt of skills and competencies that enable people pursue careers not just within the pure tech arena or ICT companies, but further afield.
And that was Peter Davitt, CEO of FIT, speaking with Niall Kitson. You can check out their website at fit.ie.